Hello everybody, welcome to another Fat for Weight Loss recipe video. Today I'm showing you how to make a coconut cream cheese keto cake. So it's a coconut cake with a cream cheese icing and it is absolutely fantastic. I had one of my readers on the blog comment and say that this recipe won her local baking competition, even though it was keto. They didn't even notice. So let's get started. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is take 5 eggs and you're going to crack them into a bowl. You have a mixer. We're going to mix this together. Now, you don't want anything too fancy. You just whip the egg whites and the egg yolks together and make them combined. And so what you want is you want melted butter, but you don't want it hot. You want this about room temperature so that it doesn't scramble your eggs. So half a cup of butter goes in there like that. We have half a cup of coconut flour. We have 1/4 cup of erythritol. I'm going to use, now this is the juice of a full lemon and the zest of a full lemon. So I'm going to use half of this for the cake and then half of it for the icing. So I'm going to put half in there like that. And I have the mixture of salt, a little bit of xanthan gum, and a little bit of baking powder that goes in there. I also have the oven on 180 degrees Celsius or 355 degrees Fahrenheit. That's preheated. I'm going to mix this together. Okay, that's perfect. So this is the consistency that you want. It's pretty solid. That's because there is xanthan gum in there. Now, if you don't have xanthan gum, that's totally fine. You don't have to put it in. Or you could substitute for guar gum, or you could also use psyllium husk powder. But today I'm using xanthan gum because it gives a really good result. And I have a small baking loaf tin here. And I'm going to pour this mixture into the baking tin. And you just want to level out the top. Because it is still quite a aerated mixture, it's going to rise a little bit in the oven, and this is just coated with baking paper. So this goes in the oven for about 45 minutes, and once it passes the toothpick test in the middle, which means the toothpick comes out clean, then it is ready to go, and you want to let it cool down and then ice the cake. Now we're going to jump into the icing in a second, but we're going to let this cook and cool down. We'll be back in a second. Okay, so while the cake's cooking, let's get started with the icing. So we have a block of cream cheese. Now this is about 250 grams. The ounces, I'll let you calculate that one. But we're gonna put that into the bowl as well. This is room, or semi-room temperature. You don't want really cold cream cheese because it's gonna be really hard to beat. And it doesn't work so well. So if you leave it out for a couple of, maybe half an hour beforehand, that's going to be perfect. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add the lemon juice and the lemon zest to that, so it gives a little bit of water, a little bit of liquid, and I'm going to add a teaspoon of vanilla extract. That goes in there like that. And I have 3 tablespoons of erythritol that goes in the icing. So we'll see if we can slowly beat this together. Start off slow because the cream cheese is still a little bit solid. If it's really room temperature, then you can start off pretty fast. But you want to whip this into a delicious icing type texture, and then you're going to put it in the fridge and wait until your cake cools down, then you can ice the cake. So that's perfect. Now, you can keep the icing like this and it's going to be really fantastic, or you can make it a little bit more viscous, or you can make it a little less viscous, sorry, and by adding a little bit of cream as you go. So depending on how thick you want your icing and how well you want it to stick to the cake, you may want to just leave it like this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of heavy whipping cream, just a little bit at a time. So I have about 2 tablespoons of heavy whipping cream here, or thickened cream here in Australia. Let's see how this goes. Now, you could use coconut cream since it is a coconut lemon cake. That would probably be really delicious. I've just used heavy whipping cream because I had it out. But that is the consistency you want from your icing. You want to be able to turn it upside down, nothing comes out. That was a bit scary. And give it a taste. Yeah, it tastes fantastic. Because it is icing, you should be using powdered erythritol instead of granular. I use granular today because I'm not too worried about it. But for the perfect texture, you don't want any crunch, you want to be using powdered erythritol. That is going to go in the fridge, and I'm going to wait for the cake to cook, cool down, and then I'll come back and ice the cake and give it a slice and tell you what it tastes like. All right, so welcome back. I have the cake that has come out of the oven and I've let it cool down for about 10-15 minutes, and I've just finished it off in the freezer just to bring it down to room temperature. So that's now room temperature, and I have the icing that's been sitting in the fridge here, and I have just a little flat edged spatula here that I'm going to help ice this cake. So check out this lemon coconut cake base that we've got here. It's looking really nice and brown on top, which is fantastic. And it smells really fragrant. It's got a really lovely lemon type smell. And now I'm going to spoon on some of this icing on top, and hopefully we can get a really nice ice on top of this cake. Okay, so let's slice into this and check it out. Wow, okay. This looks fantastic. It is fantastic. It's just got an amazing flavor. So this cake is going to be one of the best ones you can make. So again, if you love videos like this, make sure you hit subscribe. And you know, I come out with recipe videos each week like this just for you. So if there's any other recipes that you want me to make, put it in the comments below. And until next time, take care.